We have some late-breaking developments. Utah Public Safety is now releasing additional photos of the person of interest. We saw those two other photos of this same individual earlier today in connection with the shooting of Charlie Kirk. They are coming in from the state here, and it seems to be, looks like we're looking at some sort of a Twitter slideshow here that has multiple images. Your reaction to seeing these photographs as this investigation continues to unfold?
My reaction to seeing them, or my reaction to the fact that they're coming from the state instead of the FBI?
We have at it. It didn't occur to me that they're coming from the state and not from the FBI. But what is the significance of that?
There's actually not a significance. I thought you might have been raising one, but it's very common in situations like these to have the state, locals, and federal partners work hand in glove with each other. Since this very day in 2001, the FBI and local governments have really ramped up what they call the Joint Terrorism Task Forces, which are essentially co-located groups of officers and agents from different federal agencies and state and local departments that, when a crisis like this happens, are already seamlessly integrated to help each other out. So it's not unusual to me that we're getting information from quite a few different sources of law enforcement. And I would really caution people not to read too much into the fact that the person in the picture is called a person of interest. That could mean it's the subject, in other words, the suspect who they think might have actually done the shooting. It could be a potential accomplice. It could be somebody who was simply in the building with the shooter and may have very valuable information. There's a reason they use a vague phrase like person of interest. We don't want to prejudge things. We don't want to get somebody doxxed. We don't want to get social media brigades falsely accusing people that they think they've identified. It's important to take everything that you're being told by the Utah Department of Public Safety at face value on this one.
I'm curious to get your take as a former about this on again, off again sort of cadence that the FBI has had yesterday and this evening. There was going to be an announcement. There were rapid developments, so to speak, that they were saying in the case. It looks as though now that is not the case at all. Is it fair to assume that that's because, in fact, there are no developments to share?
Yeah, that's entirely possible. The very nature of a criminal investigation, particularly a very high priority one like this, where the White House is watching with an acute eye, is such that any lead you get, however attenuated it may be, however unlikely that it'll pan out, you still have to run it down with alacrity and purpose. And so they may have gotten a lot of tips, and they thought that some of them may shed light on the situation that they could share with the public, but apparently that has not happened. I would just add, as a sort of editorial matter, that is very much why the FBI before Patel did not regularly tweet about investigations or make promises about when the next press conference would be. They let the
live tweeting of investigations is a novel idea, is what you're saying.
Yes. I don't think it's novel given the character of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Yeah. It is very novel within the larger context of DOJ and FBI history and culture.
Can you just quickly walk us through how, from here, an investigation like this will continue to unfold? The Bureau says that it's got a weapon. They say they have a footprint. They have a palm print. They have these images, unreleased, at least earlier today, they were saying, images of the suspect or person of interest as well. Where did they go from here?
So there's going to be things going on at a couple different levels in a couple different locations. The physical evidence that they've mentioned, the actual carbine that they believe was used in the assassination, the palm prints, the foot impressions, those things are going to be analyzed in depth and very quickly at the FBI lab, which is located in Quantico, Virginia, on the grounds of the FBI Academy. And they're going to do a full forensic scrub. They're going to run it against every database the FBI has access to and all of the FBI's internal holdings and see if there's something, a fragment of cloth, a sliver of hair, a piece of DNA that they can use to identify who had that weapon at some point in time. Simultaneously, there's going to be individuals swearing out search warrants of various kind. They're going to be looking at buildings where the suspect or subject may have hid or trafficked through. They're probably going to be getting court orders and using electronic devices that don't require court orders to get an idea of what cell phones were in the vicinity at the time of the incident, and then start trying to sort of cull from that whole pool who is a normal student and who was there at the time but is sort of anomalous for that general area. And then there's going to be the stuff that you just see in movies, which we consider like the shoe leather work of investigations. Interviewing everybody who was on site, seeing if anybody in the neighborhood saw anything suspicious, going door to door and asking about anomalous activities that neighbors and bystanders may have witnessed over the past few days. And then lastly, you're also going to have tactical teams like the hostage rescue team or the area SWAT teams engaged in a very wide-ranging manhunt to try and actually track this individual down. All that's going to be happening simultaneously. And I will say, for as much as I criticize FBI's current leadership, the organization itself in situations like these really knows how to surge resources in a seamless way that gets results.
Just invaluable to have you here tonight. Former Assistant Special Agent in Charge at the FBI, Michael Feinberg. Thank you very much.